Hi team, hi, it's David Smith here again. We're going to have a quick chat here about economics class versus the real life. All right, economics sometimes feels like memorizing dead people's theories. It should feel like understanding why life is expensive. All right. Honestly, this is probably the best summary of what economics education should be versus what it usually turns out to be. Most of you might be sitting in an economics class right now learning about supply, demand curves, perfectly competitive markets, regional economic actors, equilibrium prices, all important, all foundational. But none of them explain why rent will be high, why a part-time job will only pay minimum wage, why concert tickets might cost $300, why your parents are stressed about their retirement. There is a gap between our economics class and our economics reality, and today we're going to try and fix it. Right, I'm an IB economics teacher, and this video is something I wish someone had talked to me about when I was first learning eco. So let's go. Here's what economics class teaches you. Here's a supply curve, here's a demand curve. Where they intersect is the equilibrium price. Cool, makes sense. When demand increases, prices go up. When supply increases, prices go down. Got it? Excellent. Firms in perfect competition are price takers. They produce where MC equals MR. Okay, sure. But here's what economics class doesn't always teach you. Why does Ticketmaster control 80% of the concert ticket market and charge whatever they want? Why do companies spend millions of dollars on ads if consumers are supposed to be rational? Why did housing prices double whilst wages stayed flat? Why does your phone know your willingness to pay and then charge you accordingly? Why are billionaires getting richer during inflation while you might be getting poorer? Right? We learn theory built for a world that really doesn't exist. Perfect competition, rational actors, complete information, right? No externalities. Meanwhile, in the real world, we've got domination by monopolies and oligopolies. We're full of irrational humans making emotional decisions. Information is often asymmetric. There are hidden externalities everywhere, especially environmental. So when we learn economics and then we enter the economy, nothing kind of makes sense. There's a gap. So how do we fix this? All right, let's have a look. 3 shifts. Shift 1, start with real, then add your theory. Instead of, here's the theory of price elasticity, now here's an example, try, why does Netflix charge $15.99 but a movie ticket costs $20? Let's figure it out. Now here's a framework called price elasticity that helps to explain it. See the difference? You're not memorizing the framework and hoping to apply it later. You're encountering real questions and learning the framework needed to answer them. Economics should feel like solving mysteries, not memorizing formulas. Okay? Here we go, second one, make imperfection the norm and not the exception. All right, there's a tough one. Here's how perfect competition works, by the way. It doesn't exist, but learn it anyway. How about this? Here's how markets actually work. Oligopolies, market power, information asymmetry, behavioral biases. Perfect competition is a useful thought experiment, but real markets are messy. When you learn that monopolistic competition and oligopoly are the norm, suddenly economics then is explaining your actual life. Why does your coffee cost $7? Because your local coffee shop has a monopolistic competition model, similar to others, but different enough, unique enough to charge a premium price. Why do gas stations, petrol stations on the same street have the same price? Oligopolies, they might be watching each other. This isn't an exception to the rule, right? It is the rule, okay? So shift number 3, use economics to interrogate economics. This is a bit meta, all right? Economics class should be teaching you to question economics itself. For example, let's try. Who decided that GDP measures a country's success? What about happiness, environmental health, income inequality? Why do we value market transactions but not unpaid work? Who benefits from that particular definition? Why is economics dominated by more Western male theories? Whose perspectives are we missing? Economics isn't objective. Truth handed down from on high. It is a way of thinking. It has been developed by people. People with biases, people with values, and people with blind spots. Using economics to critique economics, that's critical thinking. Let me give you some examples. Let's try. All right. Example 1, the Stanley Cup phenomenon. Last year, $45 water bottles were reselling for $200. Bad economics teaching would say supply and demand. Next. Good economics teaching is, why did this happen? Is it to do with scarcity? And then dig deeper. Is it artificial scarcity, limiting the drops, creating urgency? Is it signaling theory? All right. Owning one signals that you're part of the in-group. Is it a Veblen good, an expensive and desirable good? Is it behavioural economics? So, fear of missing out, a herd mentality. Is it market power, one company controlling that particular brand? From one trend, you've covered 5 economic concepts, and students actually care because it's their world. Example number 2. Uber surge pricing. Don't just explain it with demand increases, price increases. Here students will have students track the prices. All right? Then ask questions. When did the surge pricing actually kick in? Who benefits from it? Is it Uber? Is it the drivers? Who pays for it? Do the riders who need the rides during peak times, they should be the ones who pay it. But is that fair? And maybe it depends on your definition of fair. Does it work? You're going to get more drivers coming online, so it should work. What about the equity implications? Lower income riders can't afford surges. Suddenly, you're not just learning about price theory, you're learning about algorithmic pricing, market efficiency, equity, incentives, and behavioural responses, all from an app that they might use every weekend. What about, here we go, third example, the gender pay cap. This is controversial, which makes it perfect for economics. If the data says that women globally earn 77 cents for every dollar men earn, bad teaching would say it's discrimination or it's choices, let's move on. Good teaching is let's investigate the data, let's break it down, all right? Maybe you could actually specify it. So 40% of that gap might be explained by occupation choice. Then asking, well, why are women's jobs paid less? Why are they choosing those particular jobs? What is happening in the industry? 25% might be the industry itself. So why are women concentrated in those particular industries? It might be, say, 15% by the actual number of hours worked. Why are women working fewer hours? Is it about choice or is it about constraint? 5% of that gap might be to do with education. This is perhaps more or less closed now, so what has actually changed? 15% of that gap might be just unexplained. Maybe it's discrimination, maybe it's about negotiation skills, maybe it's about careers and career interruption. How do we measure all of that? So now you're teaching selection bias, occupational segregation, compensating differentials, and causation versus correlation. But what about data interpretation, policy analysis, and you're teaching the students to think critically about what are headline statistics. So here's your meta point. What is economics really for? Economics isn't about memorizing the theories. It's about developing a way of thinking, a way to ask who is benefiting, who pays the cost, what are the incentives, what are the trade-offs, who has the power, why is it designed that particular way? Could it be designed more efficiently, more differently? Economics should make the world less mysterious, not more. It should give you the power to analyse, question and reimagine the systems that you are inheriting. Because here's the truth, you're entering an economy that is more unequal than it has been for a while, dominated by tech monopolies, shaped by algorithms you can't see. You're facing climate change questions that require economic transformation. Jobs are being automated faster than new ones are being created. You need to understand this economy in order to navigate it, to change it and to thrive in it. And if your economics class isn't helping you do that, then it is failing you. But here's the good news, you can learn this stuff on your own. You're literally watching this video, that's a start. So, what else can we do? Let's try. All right, here we go. Every time, this is for you, every time you learn a theory, ask yourself, where do I see this in real life? When something economic happens in the news, try to explain it using the frameworks you know. Challenge your teacher respectfully. How does this apply in this particular situation? Start looking at and noticing prices, markets, incentives. They're everywhere. For teachers, start with the problem. Students care about those. Then introduce the theory. Teach imperfect markets as the norm. Use controversy as the teaching tool. Let students interrogate the assumptions of the economic models. For everyone, please subscribe, like, comment, subscribe if you want more videos connecting real economics to real life. So this is for you, what one economic thing do you not understand that affects your life? Let's make a video out of that. All right? Economics education should be dynamic. It should be as dynamic as the markets that we study. It should be relevant, engaging, critical, real. If it's not, we need to disrupt it. I'm David, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, Korneta, thank you very much.